So I've got the second question for you folks, and this is more something for you to reflect on. How long does it take for you to get something done? If you can measure the amount of time that it takes for you to do any activity, then you're able to actually put either an enhancement on it, or you're able to make it more efficient, or you're able to prioritize in a better fashion. If you don't manage the time that it takes to do things, then you're just going by when the activity gets done rather than when it should be done, whenever you can make the actual change. The moment I started to become highly efficient from what was already considered efficient was whenever I started to check everything, how long everything takes. I'm not saying that you become compulsive and stressed. This is very simple. We have all got phones. The majority of us have phones. The majority of us see clocks everywhere we go. There's no reason for you never to actually know what the time is. So if everywhere you go you have a clock on hand, then you can just quickly hit the phone and check how long it takes you to get a shower. Check how long it takes you to take a shit. Check how long it takes you to make food. Check how long it takes you to get work, how long it takes you to get back, how long it takes you to walk, etc. If you start to time everything that you're doing, how long do you actually take to go on your lunch break? Do you think it's an hour, or are you exactly an hour? Do you want to be as quick as possible? Do you want to make it 15 minutes and you think that you rushed it, but you actually took 45 minutes? These small changes is what will help you utilize everything. My message is about making the most out of your time to make it more enjoyable. Not making your schedule more packed of the stuff you don't want to do, but rather making your schedule fully open so you can cram as much as you can into it to create the life that you want. But you've got to manage the time that you have as efficiently as possible. Anything that you manage, anything that you actually measure, you can manage. So anytime that you're feeling like, well, you're giving up the usual control you have of a situation. Again, we can't control the other people's actions. We can't control what pops up in the day, but we can control what we do, how we handle it, and how efficient we are. If everything's already done in your day, then that means that you can handle anything that pops up. But if you have to go pick someone up, you have to go get someone else something, and you have to do another 3 things before you finish your day, which could have been done earlier, but you let them all gather up and you leave things to the last moment. If that's the way you live life, then you'll always be pressing, chasing stuff, not running efficiently, and you'll fall behind and you'll miss opportunities. If you become more efficient, manage your time, then you actually set up the ability to manage your day, and you will have a more efficient, effective day. So my first question in this second question video, if you can get that, is how often do you actually time yourself on the activities that you do so you can become more efficient and more effective? And what I want to finish this video off with is, how often do you go through complete cycles of action? How often do you actually complete the thing that you start? It's very simple if you create a simple life. However, it's easy to make things difficult when you create a complex life. When you create all these things that are going on at once that you didn't need to. How often do you meet the person? And maybe this isn't for you, but I'll let you know. How often is it you meet someone who does a lot, who runs stuff, and they leave everything up, going, and mayhem's going on all around them? Not because it needs to be, but because how they set their life up. They love being busy and saying they're busy and it's hectic, etc. They're stressed, they drink alcohol every night, they don't actually enjoy what they do, they complain to everyone that they meet. This just takes away from your whole enjoyment in life, and it's really these people set up distractions. If you can understand this psychology of complete cycles of action, if you just start something and get it finished as quickly as possible, you don't rush it, but you get it finished quickly as possible, it's going to be better than the person that leaves it open. Things that are left open create problems. If you've got open windows in the house, if your front door's open on your house, if you haven't actually informed someone fully of what they need to do, it's left open, that's where you get problems. That's where you get people not completing what they were supposed to do. That's where you leave opportunities for bad things to happen. I'm not saying be stressed or be a control freak. I'm saying be on point, get things done, be specific on what you tell people to do, control your environment. If you can grasp that, where you put yourself on the line because you're willing to go further to complete the difficult task, not to leave it there and come back to it later because you were too tired. Just finish it before you go on lunch. Just finish it before you end the day. There's many days where I've went for 24 hours non-stop trying to get that cycle of action finished. Had to sacrifice everything else. Most people today do not understand about a sacrifice. But if you can understand that, grasp the psychology of that, just complete that work, then you will get more time by sacrificing all the other time in that day. On those days that you're willing to go do the 24 hours. And remember, it won't always be that. Those are just the difficult times. It's going to be the small things. Do you clean everything up after you're finished and move on to the next thing? Or do you leave it all messed up? You're going to get it later. Then you rush out in the car, you didn't get the fuel. Now you're stressed about, is the fuel going to be just enough to get you another top up? You get the top up on the fuel and there's no food in the house and you have to go out and get this and get that. Whenever, if you had to set things up better, you could have got the fuel, you could have got the food that you need and not been rushed, being on top of everything. Finish your day earlier, set yourself up for a good night's sleep, because again, how much better do we function whenever we get that proper sleep? These are important messages, these are quick messages, and this is how I start my morning, folks. I'm always thinking like this. I'm not thinking like this because I feel like it's a must. I think like this because whenever you live on the edge, whenever you push those boundaries, you're constantly thinking, how can I make this more efficient? How can I make this more enjoyable? There's not one person on this planet that doesn't want to enjoy themselves. The problem comes whenever they're not in alignment with what's going to create enjoyment. So they do all these different things that distract them. I hope you can get the message in this video that you align yourself with the things you're going to enjoy. And who doesn't want to become more efficient, more effective, and set things up for a greater life where they get better results? Let me know in the comments below. How do you manage your time? How strict are you on your time management? And how often do you complete the things of action that you start? Write down from, do you wash the dishes after yourself whenever you lift that pan and throw it on the plate? To write up to, did you get the forms signed, filled in, signed by someone else for a seal of approval, sent off to the bank, get it completed, phone the bank before the bank closes to get it back to you. Then it's not finished until that fucking signature is on it in your vision. Not when someone tells you that it's signed, not whenever you're told it's getting posted back. You drive out to the bank, you get it straight from the bank. If you can get that type of attitude right down from the bottom to the top, close cycles of action. You won't feel angry at people close to you. You won't feel angry at other people, because whenever you exert yourself like that, that's happiness. I hope you can get this message. I hope you can appreciate the message. I can understand for someone who likes to sit on a beach and meditate, they might think, well, that person's pushing too much, or you've come from too much of a religious background that's fed you full of bullshit where you think this is the wrong way to do it. I'm sharing with you one of the great ways to do it. If you know a better way, let me know in the comments below. I hope you can step your game up and become more in control of the great things you want to create. No one messes with the person who's on point. Shit sticks to the person who doesn't know where to put their dick in the wind. Be great.